Hello and welcome back to the Puncher's Chance podcast with myself, Sam Hill, and as always, I'm joined by
Harry Tovey
and
Ben Thomas.
And in today's episode, we're going to be talking or previewing the big show, Chris Billam-Smith versus Richard Riakporhe, as well as Gervonta Davis fighting over in the States, and Subriel Matias Liam Paro. We're also going to be looking at some audio clips, talking about some talking points with boxing as well. Now, we've got no big fights to sort of review like we normally do. I don't know if you boys have watched any boxing over the weekend in terms of any of the few fights that there were.
It wasn't boxing, it was MMA for me. I was watching Savannah Marshall make her MMA debut, and wow, fair play. It's not easy to turn over to fight in MMA, but yeah, she made it look really easy, and fingers crossed. Now
you know what I was watching MMA wise? I don't watch much MMA.
I know what you're going to say.
Eddie Hall, throwing a midget in the air and then knocking him spark out. Why not?
This is a podcast about boxing.
Yeah, but
oh my god,
he's boxed.
It was a decent weekend of fights, but it's nice to have some proper boxing this weekend. And
need to see Eddie Hall back in him against Francis Ngannou, I reckon.
That'd be a good fight, to be fair. I don't think it would be, but
Francis will probably kill him. But
yeah, it would be tough. He's just too slow, isn't he?
Who did he box? He's boxed before, though, hasn't he?
Thor, the other world strongest. It's not actually Thor. His full name was it Bjorn Thornson or something? I forget.
The
Icelandic
Thor Bjornsson.
They were both in World's Strongest Man, right?
He could. Well, when he went to fight Tyson Fury as well, that Thor.
Maybe.
I swear I remember watching something. Tyson Fury was over in Iceland going to do something with him, but yeah.
Maybe. Now
it's good to have proper boxing back this weekend.
It is good. What we'll do first is maybe have a look at. Or do you want to do the audio clips, or do you want to stitch me up with some?
Let's do the audio clips first.
Some audio clips. So the first audio clip kind of linked to the one this weekend. A big boxer show, two British titles or two British fighters, British title, big clash. Fraser Clarke, Fabio Wardley, number 2 for the rematch. This is Fraser Clarke talking about that fight, where it could happen, how it could happen, etc.
Yeah, that's really it. Really, we either headline again, or we go on the undercard of Anthony Joshua at Wembley, which is again a packed Wembley. Is hard for anyone to say no to. Do you know what I mean? That's the beauty of the first fight. Do you know what I mean? It's still a bit of pill to swallow. That it wasn't a win; it was a draw. But at the same time, it's created a certain type of hype, and people are looking forward. People will enjoy the rematch.
So I don't know if that was Fraser Clarke sort of thinking ideally it would be on that Wembley card if there's actually been some solid talks about that happening.
It deserves a big fight night though, don't it? That Wembley card fits it wow.
I think everyone wants to get on our Wembley card, especially the British fighters are going to want to, you're not often going to get a chance to fight the Wembley Stadium.
Can you imagine we have Anthony Joshua, Daniel Dubois, Hamza Shiraz, Chris Eubank Jr. and then them two fight as well in one night.
That's
and possibly a Inoue as well.
Yeah, I was going to say Inoue. What you'd have is Inoue probably being the third
one
last
of the
fight.
On.
Would be mental.
It's madness, but
they could put some very good fights on our Wembley card. But yeah, the rematch between them two, I think everyone wants to see it. The first one at the start of the year is still probably in everyone's list of best fights of the year so far.
Top 5 easily.
I think we need a definitive winner from the two of them.
Yeah, definitely. And I think what's really great about that Wembley show, obviously that one can headline its own card as we saw with the O2, and I think if it doesn't happen, that's what they'll do anyway. But with that Wembley card, you see with Terence Crawford's card over in America, or the American realities, you've got Terence Crawford. They're championing American fighters. It's all American fighters pretty much on the home side of that card. The idea is they'll do the same in Wembley. It'll be all British fighters, championing the best British fighters, which is great to see. It's one of the question marks over the Saudi boxing has been they're not really doing anything for us. They're doing it for themselves. We're actually, albeit it's only one show. If they do a show in Wembley, it will be for 4 British fighters, 4 British fans. It'll be brilliant.
Yeah, they're starting to push it out now. Like you said with the America card, and now Wembley, it's not just like what we thought it might have been, is all the fights go into Saudi. We are slowly, it looks like we're going to start seeing them over in America and the UK as well, which will be good for the boxing fans, because not everyone can get out to Saudi to watch these shows, and it'd be, I think, the type of cards they've put on, if they can put one in the UK, the atmosphere is going to be really good for it.
And
that Los Angeles card as well, Martin Piccoli, Jared Anderson, another a 50-50 heavyweight clash there. Jared Anderson in his last performance, obviously Riyad Mehri didn't come to fight, but that's a very interesting fight, fair play, because I think Martin Bakoli's, I want to say, coming off a fight with Carlos Takam. I could be wrong there, but it's a very good fight.
Yeah, and Jared Anderson's now training under Sugar Ray, I believe. Turki tweeted that he asked him to, and he's done it.
That's brilliant, that, isn't it? To see that a guy who's put so much money into boxing is now tutoring fighters to go, oh, you go and train with him and you'll become a great. And yeah, fair play.
He's also clearly been listening to the podcast, because we questioned the musical performance over in Saudi on the Fury Usyk card, and Eminem's performing on that card, so you can't really get any bigger than that. He's clearly been listening.
I think everyone knows who the singer is now as well.
Yeah, he's forgiven us for you calling him a fan of drugs at the start of the very first episode. He's let us off with that. He said, I'll pardon you, I'll take what you say about the performance.
I don't remember saying that.
It was a bit out of context, but we'll let it slide.
Putting words in my mouth there, I think.
Talking about Saudi boxing, talking about a man who's fought in Wembley. That's a brilliant segue from me there. Carl Froch, recently speaking on the Saudi atmosphere.
Has he fought in Wembley?
Yeah, the George Gross.
That's good.
Wow, look at this guy.
He doesn't shut up about it. That's why.
He's obviously read the new Andy Clark book, because he references that.
That's one of the first. That Groves and Froch, like, all rivalry was one of the first I can remember in boxing.
When was
it? Was good.
2000, what was it? It'd be 10 years just gone, isn't it? So 2014.
14 was the rematch in
really?
Wembley. I think it was 2013, November 2013. I want to say was the fight in Nottingham where Froch lost, obviously, and then it came to Wembley. But yeah, this is what you had to say about the Saudi atmosphere.
I was 9 years old. Look at that.
Mental.
I don't care what anybody says. People come back and forth, and people are stroking egos and agreeing with people when they say, oh, the atmosphere is good, the atmosphere is okay. The atmosphere tonight in Saudi Arabia was fucking shocking. That's all there is to say about it. Nobody was interested. And there were some good fights on there tonight. There were some good heavyweight fights. Nick Ball became world champion. Hamza Sherez put the performance in. It was a good show. And people are sitting ringside on the phones. They're not animated. So hopefully that's closed the argument.
So that was pretty emphatic from Froch, and it sparked a bit of a talking point, and people have been talking about it so far. And what's your guys' thoughts on it in terms of, do you think it's a problem that there isn't necessarily a big atmosphere there? Can we expect there to be a British drunk crowd atmosphere over in Saudi Arabia, or is it a case of, that's never going to happen?
You're never going to get it over in Saudi Arabia because they don't drink and all that. But I think it's like in any sports, I'll reference darts. Darts went to America a couple of years ago, and hardly anyone was in the arena that they were playing in. It takes time, and I think you saw that in the Fury Usyk card, and that fight. The atmosphere was brilliant. You thought it might have been in the UK, but yeah, I sort of agree with Carl Froch there. I thought it was quite disappointing to see that not many people turned out for it, but they're not educated yet, the boxing fans over in Saudi. Once they become known to the sports, I think the crowds get bigger, but I'm not complaining. We'll get in the fights. That's all I care about. I don't care about the atmosphere. I go to boxing and watch a fight. I don't go to boxing and have drinks and all. So
I like the darts.
The darts is a different story, because you have to have drinks at darts, because that's the sort of...
I also think as well, I think what people are overlooking slightly, and we can say this because we're not on the payroll, we're not invited to Saudi shows, it'll be a long time before we ever do, but we get shows in Britain that haven't got great atmosphere. Not every fight in Britain is First Direct Arena, is these sort of venues where you get famously brilliant atmosphere.
A bit biased there with the arena choice.
It's a good venue, you can't question it. There will be shows around Britain with decent fights that get bad crowds. It's just the way it's not. Nathan Heaney doesn't go on every show. Like, you don't get those famous British crowds at every show. So to say they're not over there is kind of... It's a bit harsh.
I don't think you're ever gonna get that type of atmosphere over there that you get here, though, because like the drinking culture and everything over here, that's what sort of stokes the atmosphere at UK sort of fight nights. That's where the atmosphere builds from, and is like you've got thousands of people who are drunk, have been drinking all day, and they get in there, they're watching a fight, they get riled up over it. Like over in Saudi, I don't think you're ever gonna get that type of atmosphere, because it's just a different culture and a way of living, really, innit?
I also think if you had maybe a Saudi fighter on there, someone they could get behind, you might, what connection does do the Saudi people have to Daniel Dubois versus Filip Hrgovic? There's no real connection there.
They've got a fighter though, haven't they? Oh, I can't think of his name.
I know who you mean. I forget his name.
Ziad, is it?
He fought on the
Ngannou Joshua
undercard. Yeah.
They need. It's a new country though, ain't it? It's a new market, and you look at the pool that was there last week, the World Pool Championships. There was hardly anyone in the crowd. That took place in Jeddah. Again, if they're putting money into a sport, and you're seeing the big fights, you're seeing big tournaments, I'm not going to complain against that. I'm not going to make an argument, I should be in the UK. Because if we didn't have Saudi Arabia, we wouldn't have Tyson Fury, Alexander Usyk, full stop. Without Turki, Alalshikh and what he's done over in Saudi Arabia, we wouldn't have had Francis Ngannou come into the boxing ring without Saudi Arabia. So yeah, I'm just happy that we're getting the big fights. We've finally got Queensberry and Matchroom to work together to put on some great fights as well in Britain. So I don't get the fuss, to be honest. I get the atmosphere's crap, but I'd rather have good fights than good atmosphere.
Yeah, it's not perfect.
Yeah,
but nothing is. So, be happy, enjoy the fights as they are, watch them on your Sky box office or whatever, and enjoy it. Enjoy it for
you,
it
it's Weatherspoons, but
yeah,
Well, and for you now, Ben, ain't it?
It will be soon if they keep hiking the prices.
It's ridiculous. Maybe that should be a talking point on this podcast. The Zone putting up their subscriptions £20.
I also think the problem is as well, we've had so many good fights this year that it stacks
You're
up.
spending so much money now on it now.
Yeah,
like whereas before you'd be like probably like 1 or 2 pay-per-views a year. Now it's like monthly.
I've never bought so many pay-per-views in 1 year.
No,
and I've got to the age now where I'm not relying on my dad to pay for them. I'm paying for them, and I'm thinking, oh god.
I think the Tank Davis fight is on Amazon Prime for £20 pay-per-view. I think, but it's got David Benavidez on it. It's a good card. I wouldn't complain paying £20 for it.
But
normally.
Jake Paul, Mike Tyson's on Netflix, and you don't have to pay pay-per-view for that.
Well, if we ever say
that Amanda Serrano is on Netflix, sorry, forget about that crap fight. But yeah.
Speaking of crap fight, speaking of that sort of influencer market, one of the big names in influence boxing, KSI, recently announced what he says is going to be his next fight. I'm going to play the audio clip through, and then we can talk about what we think of that.
I am here to fight. I want to challenge myself. So I'm going to fight a person that has been on my case for ages. So I will be fighting Slim and Anthony Taylor in a 2v1 handicap tag team match.
So, what are we saying about that?
It's what you get when you have a musician as your manager, ain't it?
Yeah.
Let's be honest. I don't like it at all. I think the Anthony Taylor fight isn't the fight to make for KSI to return to. The Slim fight's a really good scrap, but yeah.
But I think that they
2 versus 1.
They're both difficult fights for him, I think. Like 1-on-1 I think would be
enough.
Like I don't know, I don't really get the 2v1 thing.
Because it's not even 2 fights in one night, which he did before. Is him against Anthony Yard. So if he knocks down Anthony Yard,
Anthony Taylor.
Anthony Yard. He wouldn't knock down Anthony Yard. If he knocks down Anthony Taylor, Slim just comes in the ring then. No.
Yeah.
No.
Oh, but I think he only has to stop one of the two, doesn't he?
If the ref waves it off, it's off, I think.
I don't like it. It should be 1-on-1.
Fight 1v1 and it's like
and then fight Slim or Anthony Taylor down the road sometime.
Yeah. I understand they're trying to like go a different route to like mainstream boxing, but I don't know, you don't want to push it too far to the point where it gets a bit comical.
Yeah, I think the thing that I really liked about influencer boxing, and the way I always defended it as someone who comes from the generation of obviously watching the Logan Paul, KSI, Joe Weller, all of this, and watching it all the way through, is it probably in some way did reignite my interest in boxing in some way. It didn't, it helped me go back and watch, proper genuine boxing. It moved me on from that. And I think there'll be loads of people out there that right now maybe listen to this podcast, maybe watch the big shows, who the first fight they watched was probably KSI Joe Weller.
Yeah.
And that was great.
That night was unbelievable. Fair play.
But a 2v1 with...
Do you know who Joe Weller is?
Yeah.
Okay. No, just making sure.
Just checking.
I'm not that fucking old.
A 2v1 doesn't do that.
No.
If you watch that 2v1, nothing about that fight makes you want to watch proper boxing, because it just doesn't. So it's losing it's going out of touch a bit with what I thought was its biggest selling point.
It's going too professional as well, I think, because some of the YouTubers that were getting on these shows, these misfits, I'm thinking, hang on a minute, one of us could be going on there with the subscribers they've got. So
yeah, but I think they need to be careful as well at the same time. Like that fight we watched at the start of the year, I can't remember the guy's name, the big
Arms Coolio and Minicon, was it?
Yeah, and he like nearly died in the ring with like the shape he was in. It's like, you've still got to be quite careful with who you're letting in there now.
But it's the Poland Boxing Board of Control they're with, or something like that. So
yeah, if the phone rang though, you're picking it up. I asked this to Johnny Nelson, he said yeah, but you know, you boys,
the amount of money they pay, definitely.
If the money's good, yeah,
fair enough. I'll do it. Let's do it. Triple threat match.
Yeah, 3v3.
Just do a Royal Rumble.
Who could we do us three against? Is there any famous trios on the internet? I don't think there is many.
No, we shouldn't be calling out names.
No.
Why not?
Because Harry's scared.
No. They haven't seen us box yet, so
true.
Let's do a boxing video montage thing, and then
we'll never get him played on.
Yeah, we'll scare him off.
Next up, that's the audio clip.
We'll get Dan Francis to promote us, actually.
Yeah, Welsh Eddie Hearn.
The Welsh Eddie Hearn, shout out.
You're gonna stitch me up with a new format we're trying. I don't know what to call it. We don't
even know if we've done it right. But
what we'll call it is we'll pretend that we ever called the other segment the same name, Split Decision. Obviously, boxing term. We definitely don't have another segment. We've already called that Split Decision. Harry, hit me with it.
So he's got a choice between two fighters, and the winner stays on, basically. So the first two fighters are Inoue or the new undisputed heavyweight champion of the world, Alexander Usyk.
Okay, that's really hard.
Look at this.
That is so difficult. You've gone in with a banger hard at the start. Yeah. I mean, obviously, we're not saying who would win a fight because that's silly. It's pound for pound, who's best. I think today, if I'm going to go, this is contrary to what I said a few weeks back, I'm going to say Usyk.
Okay. Usyk or Canelo Saul Alvarez?
Ooh. It's pound for pound best right now. Usyk, better career so far. There could be an argument for Canelo, but I'm going to say Usyk. I don't think I can.
Dimitri Bivol or Alexander Usyk?
Usyk. I love Bivol, but Usyk.
Jaron Ennis or Alexander Usyk?
It's not Boots. He's fun. He's exciting, but Usyk's clear.
Russia against Ukraine. Artur Beterbiev, Alexander Usyk.
Ooh. See, I think it is Usyk, but I think Beterbiev, if the injury hadn't come, there would have been an option for him to start putting himself up in that conversation.
Joseph Parker or Alexander Usyk?
Usyk.
Ajit Kaibayel or Alexander Usyk?
Usyk.
Okay, and then the last one, Terence Crawford or Alexander Usyk?
Oh, yeah. That's tough.
Who is the pound for pound number one out of them two? Because you said Usyk over Inoue, so he's number 3.
I think off the back of the Fury win, I must still say Usyk, just about. But
so from 3 weeks ago, you said that, I want to say you said Inoue's pound for pound number 1.
Yeah.
3 weeks later, Alexander Usyk's pound for pound number 1.
Yeah.
I respect.
And can I explain why?
You don't have to explain why. He's the best fighter out there at the moment. He's undisputed.
Yeah. I think off the back of
what legend.
Today, right now, having beaten Fury, he's got that. If Inoue and or Crawford win their next fights, then you can maybe say, well, they've done it, but Usyk will retire near enough, and Inoue and Crawford, particularly Inoue, will have his time. He's not an old fighter, so I think that's fair. Usyk's pound for pound number 1 now. I've gone back on my word.
Can I ask a question? And in between a fight, who wins in a fight, Terence Crawford or Canelo Alvarez? Just out.
Canelo.
What?
Okay.
Canelo.
So they do like a catch weight. Them to fight. Who wins?
I feel like the weight advantage would be.
I think he's too big.
His Excellency wants to get that on later in the year.
Fair play to Crawford if he takes it. That's tough scrap at 2 weight classes higher, but
it's a hell of a fight.
There's weight classes for a reason.
There's one way we'll ever see that fight, and that's on the new Undisputed game that comes out in October. That's the only chance we'll ever see that one, because it's not.
Do you not think it'll happen in Saudi?
I I don't think so, because I think Crawford's still very much at the height of his powers, and I think he can still do great things. Whereas I think, yeah, but I think Canelo, it makes sense for Canelo, that fight. I don't know if it makes sense for Crawford.
Does if he beats him?
Yeah, true. Yeah, true. If he batters Canelo, then you are an all-timer.
No one wants to go near him, man. That's the issue.
No, he's just big these days, Canelo. He's really big, and I just don't think Crawford could demand any respect from him in terms of the shots.
Canelo, a couple of years back, he moved up to light heavy to fight Bivol.
Yeah.
That's a massive jump down if they do it. They have to do a catch weight, surely.
Yeah, but he's done. Where did he fight Mayweather at? Was that middleweight?
Going back now.
No, it would have even been probably
lightweight or super lightweight, I would have guessed.
It's a great fight. If it gets made, it's a great fight. And imagine Fury Usyk, the main event, the rematch, hopefully for Undisputed again. And then on the undercard, you've got Terence Crawford, Canelo Alvarez.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's as high as it gets, really.
That's big time boxing right there. So
yeah, for sure. You can't top that. Well, you can, and he maybe will. But interesting. So obviously, Usyk Fury, biggest fight we've seen in our lifetimes, or certainly your lifetime, Harry, because you're a little bit younger. You missed some of the top heavyweight fights at the early 2000s.
Gutted.
Is AJ Fury a bigger fight than Usyk Fury, regardless of titles?
It depends who you ask the question to, because if you ask someone who's American, they might say Usyk Fury's bigger, but as a Brit, there's no other bigger fight out there at the moment than Fury AJ. The amount of talk that's around that fight is unbelievable. You know, everyone, you walk around the street. I was watching, I think it was at home with the Furies, and he was on Morecambe Beach, or Morecambe Bay, whatever you want to call it, and a bloke walked up to him and said, I still think AJ would beat you. Everyone talks about it. You can have a non-boxing fan, everyone knows in the UK who Anthony Joshua is and who Tyson Fury is.
Yeah.
It's a massive fight.
Yeah,
and if that gets made next year, we said big time boxing just then with Canelo Alvarez, Terence Crawford, that is massive.
It'd probably be the most watched fight in the UK, I would have thought.
It pushes pay-per-view buys as well. I reckon you can get over 2 million pay-per-view buys with that fight.
Yeah, I think it's huge. I worry it's going to be like one of those sort of I'm trying to think of an example, like Carl Froch Calzaghe, where it was like this is this huge fight that just never quite happens. I'm worried that it will be AJ will have to basically decide between, does he push for undisputed or does he get the biggest payday of his career? And that's a really tough call. I mean, he's been paid so well. It
could be for undisputed though. That fight
it really could be.
Fury could absolutely batter Usyk in the rematch, but
I do kind of hope, in a weird way, that Usyk gets stripped of his IBF and we see Dubois AJ for the IBF, and then the winner of that versus the winner of the Usyk Fury rematch for undisputed, rather than having the rematch as another undisputed fight.
I think they are gonna push for the rematch to be undisputed.
I think it will be.
I'd rather it that way as well.
Yeah, I'm the same. I think they will. I don't think the IBF will strip Usyk.
But imagine now, May next year when it happens, assuming it happens in May next year, Dubois beats AJ end of September. He's the new IBF world champion. Usyk beats Fury for a second time. May, the biggest fight in heavyweight boxing then for undisputed, is a rematch between Alexander Usyk and Daniel Dubois.
With the controversy of the first fight.
Exactly.
Yeah, they could build around that, couldn't they? But the thing is, even if that was to happen, AJ Fury is still, in my eyes, would be bigger.
That would be on the undercard.
I think it is such a big fight just because of the fact it's been so, it's always felt like it should happen. It never has. Two huge British fighters, such a contrast in style and ego and characters. Yeah. It would be the best fight to see. Whether there's titles on the line, like you've said previously, it doesn't need titles to sell. It just needs those two in a stadium, in a ring, preferably, and there you go. That's all you need. No atmosphere required.
Yeah, it would have some atmosphere.
It would.
If it was the UK, it would. But I think even if they done it in Saudi, you'd have loads of UK fans out there for that.
Yeah, for sure.
But you need to know which, because they're both probably 1 and 2 British heavyweights of their era. You need to know which one of them is number one.
Yeah, it would be a shame to never see it. It would be a real shame to never see that fight. This weekend, we got some good fights this weekend. Actually,
Completely forgot about this weekend.
It's felt like. Well, I say we had a week off, and it's felt like ages since we've seen a huge fight. In fact, it's only been a week. First one I want to talk about is Matias versus Liam Paro. Another super lightweight fight, which I think is shaping up to be possibly my favourite division in boxing at the moment. Because you've obviously got Jack Catterall looking to fight Arnold Barboza Jr., who's ranked, I forget which one it is, maybe WBO, WBA, number 1. So then that will put, the winner of that will be still number 1. Subriel Matias obviously fighting Liam Paro. Devin Haney, Ryan Garcia, obviously.
Angelo Dragoni.
Yes, of course. How could we forget? Really great division, but a tough ask for Liam Paro against Matias in Puerto Rico. He's a good fighter.
I fancy Liam Paro in this fight, mate. I can't lie, but yeah, it's a great fight. There's so many good fights this weekend, fair play, but yeah, for some reason, Liam Paro, I'm being told by the people above that Liam Paro could win. Could have a massive upset. He's got an undefeated record. You don't have an undefeated record by taking easy fights. You can, but you can't. IBF World Super Lightweight on the line. Yeah. I reckon there's a shock happening, and I reckon Liam Paro could get the job done. Because the pressure of his homecoming as well. I want to say this might be Matchroom's first fight in Puerto Rico. So, yeah.
I can't think of any more.
Should be quite a close fight, I think.
Oh, yeah, but I just see an upset happening, if I'm being honest.
I don't know which way to go with it, to be honest, though.
What ones are we choosing for box?
I was just having a look, and it'll be the box one, but I don't think it's on here yet.
Oh.
So we might have to just lock them in.
Oh, we get time to change our predictions.
No changing.
Damn it.
No, you've got to say
VAR will be on you guys.
I've already said my prediction already to you boys.
Yeah, you have. So I really good fight to sort of, not one I'm going to be watching live, obviously, I think, because there's other big fights at the time. But
the Night Owl by you, mate. Are you going to be watching it live?
Is it on DAZN?
Yeah.
Probably will then.
Depending on if we get an email this week as well, there might be a certain drink that you'll be doing to keep you up at that one, but we'll leave that one for a little while. The other card I obviously mentioned in Las Vegas, MGM Grand, legendary arena, David Benavidez versus Alexander Gvozdyk for the WBC interim light heavy. Obviously the light heavy's tied up a little bit in Beterbiev Bivol, but it's a really good fight. It's gonna be a really good fight.
And we get through that, we could get a Canelo Alvarez fight finally. I know we just talked about him and Terence Crawford, but we could get a Canelo Alvarez David Benavidez fight.
That's what's amazing.
That's
about
what I want.
Canelo is that you can talk about him fighting someone at light heavyweight and super welterweight, because he's just that versatile. He's done it all. His boxing style doesn't really require, to be, you don't go, he's too drained, he's too light, because he's just such a good boxer. He just reinvents himself whenever he needs to.
Do you think he'd struggle against Benavidez, or?
Yes. I don't think I'm not going to say he will lose, definitely, but I think it'll be difficult at light heavy.
Same
for him.
way with Bivol, when I think the size was just a bit too much.
But Bivol also, I think, nullified what makes Canelo great, which is his skill. He's always the more skillful fighter, whereas against Bivol, he wasn't necessarily. They're both so skillful, whereas he is the more skillful fighter against Benavidez, so he could use that to his advantage in a way he couldn't against Bivol.
Talking about the main event, Gervonta Davis is coming back after a long layoff, over a year.
It's been a while, isn't it,
since our Ryan Garcia's
last fight.
Have you seen any pictures of him as well?
He looks
huge. Yeah. He looks huge for a lightweight. He looks seriously big.
Somebody's always got to go as well.
True.
Look at that.
I don't see anyone beating him at lightweight.
But then I didn't see Devin Haney losing to Ryan Garcia, and
yeah, but he had a lot of advantages, didn't
he? Yeah. There was a lot of controversy around that now, but you never know. It's boxing, isn't it?
Ain't it, that he failed, or?
Yeah, he's failed the test, and what happens from that we don't know. But it'd be
Surely
interesting.
It's a ban, but there we go.
They're looking at a 4-month ban, isn't he?
4 months. Bloody hell.
I think that's what I seen. I'm not 100% sure, but I think that's what they were going to push for, was a 4-month ban.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
And then he fights Jake Paul Christmas.
Yeah, of course. But it's a tough ask for Tank Davis in the form of Frank Martin. He's a top fighter. He's a highly ranked fighter, one of the top ranking lightweights, particularly in the States. It's not going to be an easy ask.
It's a great fight.
Yeah, I think it's one for Frank Martin. He's probably going to jump in, take a little bit of a risk, and it's the risk reward thing. If he can pull off, I think he's probably going in as the underdog, but
it was like that
he can
Malik.
pull off the upset.
It's like that Malik Zinad, wasn't it, the other week against Bivol? He's got a massive opportunity here, so I don't see an upset happening here, but I think Gervonta Davis maybe stops him late, and then where does Gervonta Davis go from here then? What other fights out there for him? Big fights.
Shakur Stevenson, Vasyl Lomachenko, and is it William Zepeda's the other world title holder in that division? Is William Zepeda?
I think so.
Lightweight, does it?
Imagine that though, Shakur Stevenson.
No, he's not title holder, William Zepeda. So yeah, it's
Shakur
Shakur Stevenson,
though, aren't they?
Shakur Stevenson and Vasyl Lomachenko are probably the two.
But them two are going to fight, I think. Shakur Stevenson and Lomachenko.
Yeah, looks like
the winner of them, can he?
Mark Chamberlain, lightweight against Tank Davis, maybe.
Could give it a go, I suppose. He needs a world title shot somewhere, doesn't he?
You have to roll the dice as well at some point, don't you? So
the other one is it not Denis Berinchik just beat Navarrete for the WBO? Yeah. So that's another fight you could have either for any one of those fighters. I think maybe that's one that I see Mark Chamberlain getting. Obviously, Ukrainian Berinchik. He's not going to be able to fight in Ukraine for obvious reasons. Stick it in Saudi Arabia with Mark Chamberlain. I think that's one that will probably happen. Maybe that might be his route to the world title.
Makes the most sense, don't it?
Yeah, and then I don't know where it will go for Tank Davies, whether he wants to move up or whether he wants to keep fighting down at lightweight. I get the sense because he's big now, maybe he wants to move up, but I don't know.
He might just be looking to hold his power, though, only as a big lightweight and just look to bully people. But yeah, there's a couple of options there for him, but obviously he has to get through Saturday night first, and it'd be good to see him back in the ring after just over a year off.
Yeah, it's been a while, and it doesn't feel like it. Like I don't know. He has a really great way of just staying relevant. Like you don't forget about him.
Well, he's best mates with Eddie Hearn, ain't he? So
yeah, you always know about him. You just always know he's about, whether he's fighting or not.
Mm-hmm.
Back to Britain, huge card in Selhurst Park, boxer show, some really great
Should
fights.
we talk about the one happening the night before? Jerome Warburton, Ryan Kelly, Lerone Richards, Abbas Baru as well.
Yeah,
I think that's a Wasserman.
Yeah, it will have been. Yeah, it will be. Yeah, really good show. Some really great fights on there.
A Welsh fighter fighting a tough fight. Friday night, Channel 5.
Yeah, where's it?
Bolton. Is it Bolton? It is Bolton.
Yeah.
It's great to see Jerome Warburton getting a shot now, because if he wins this fight, if he comes through it, a British or a Commonwealth title is next for him. So
well, you could have the winner of Nathan Heaney, Brad Pauls, I reckon.
He has called for it, man. I remember him on Instagram saying that was rubbish when they fought first.
So it was a brilliant fight. Like, the fight was not rubbish. You could call either of them rubbish. I wouldn't call them that, but one could if that's the opinion you held. But calling it a bad fight, absolutely not. It was a classic fight of this year for sure.
Yeah. And you've got Lerone Richards making his return as well. I want to say he's been out the ring. Oh no, he was in the ring in November, but yeah, it's good to see him back in the ring as well. The Sniper Boss. Yeah,
and what a nickname that is! What a nickname that is! And the bread maker, Jerome Warburton. That's another classic. And then Abbas Baru won was it the European he won?
Against Sam Eggington, yeah.
Against Sam Eggington, and then it's a good card that actually. It's not
very good fight.
Hopefully we get to watch it all in Britain, because normally Wasserman, we only get to see the main event being on Channel 5. All the undercard fights are meant to be on DAZN, but everyone else in the world can watch them, bar the UK.
Mate, let me introduce you to a new method of watching now. A new weather.
Oh, we'll talk after, shall we?
Yeah, off air. Yeah, so that's a brilliant card in Bolton in Britain. The other one, like I said, obviously Selhurst Park, boxer show. This was one where the main event was really good, and then they slowly added fighters to it, and I was going, that's a good, it's built really well. Obviously at the bottom you got Fran Hennessy, 3-0 now. Bit of a sort of the poster girl, I suppose, for boxing in many ways. They're really trying to build her up as this. I think this year was quite a good commercial asset, and a really talented fighter. You can't question her ability in the ring at all.
Probably the most calmest person walk into a boxing ring I've ever seen. front end.
Yeah, really impressive for on her debut to just kind of to like you say, just walk out with that confidence. And I think it's shown in her career, that confidence so far, for sure. You can't say that she's not confident, if nothing else, but I think she's a really talented fighter as well.
Just clocked that Dan Aziz is on this card as well.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Yeah, some good fights on this card.
Yeah, Dan Aziz is fighting was it Alvarez Sepp, I think his name is. Not a brilliant
Croatian
fight necessarily, but it's good to see him
get back into winning ways, isn't it?
Yeah.
After the Boazzi fight, I think it's just a rebuilding period now for him.
The thing is that's unfortunate for him is he doesn't come off the back, in my eyes, from that Boazzi fight any worse off than I thought he was going into it in terms of his ability. I don't go, maybe he's not as good as I thought he was. I go, he's exactly how good I thought he was. Boazzi was just a little bit better, basically.
Do you think he needs to take a bit of a risk, though, in terms of his next fight after this one to push himself back?
I reckon he can maybe get the rematch with Boazzi. Because I don't think Yard's going to be fighting Boazzi anytime soon with all the drama that's happening with him in Queensbury.
Yeah, the only question I ask is whether or not possibly Boxer are more looking at pushing Whittaker up the division. Obviously, the light heavyweight, like we said, with Benavidez is tied up quite a lot at the top with Bivol and Beterbiev. So I don't know if maybe they might favour Whittaker in terms of matchmaking because he's got that future ahead of him. He is such a big asset in terms of commercial. I think he's got well over 1 million followers on social media. He's huge. He's a big name.
Does he stick around with Boxer though?
100%.
Well, it doesn't look like he will.
Platform to be on.
It doesn't look like he will necessarily. There was obviously talk about him possibly going to Matchroom. I don't know, but
it's whoever can offer him a world title the quickest, I think, and he'll stay there.
But presumably, we can't. Well, we don't know yet, so let's presume he's still at Boxer for the foreseeable. That I think he maybe gets pushed ahead, but it's a difficult task for him. Who he's fighting, Ezra Aranyeka. A supposedly quite highly rated Nigerian fighter. It's for the WBA gold. I don't know what that means. How can you have the gold and it not be the world title? That just seems a bit daft, but is what it is.
They just got belts everywhere, haven't they?
Yeah, but
it's going to be the first time someone's jumping in there with him and looking to take his head off, I think, which will either play into his hands and let him show his skill, or he'll show what he's like with a bit of pressure put on him.
Yeah, I think so. Leon Willings, we fought last time. I think I said after that fight that Leon felt like the first fighter who came to fight Ben Whittaker.
For him.
Exactly, he fought in a way that was difficult for Ben, and I think he was the first time we've seen that. So this will be interesting as another thing. I think also Willings just got a first round knockout in his last fight.
He's a very good fighter.
Fought on Saturday night.
You could see that from that fight. He made a name for himself in that fight, and he did catch Whittaker with a couple of shots. Even though I think Whittaker dropped his hands a bit and probably should have been a bit cleaner with his work. But
I think Whittaker as well needs to make a statement on Saturday night, because the guy he's fighting called him out in a press conference and he said that's never going to happen again. So I think the way you make a statement is by stopping him early and just go, listen, everyone in this division now, if you call my name, I'll come and fight you, but you're going to get stopped. And it's also good to see as well, Tosin. He was sparring with him last week, so
he sparred the both of them.
Yeah, he sparred.
Technically, we argue that Tosin's the #1 Nigerian fighter out there, but
he is on BoxRec as well. I think he's ranked higher. But
I can agree with BoxRec for a change
for
there.
once. Yeah. I think I always say with Whittaker in my head, I'm always like, I really wish I want him to just go there, smash him out in the first round, cool it, bang, whatever. Because I think he's got the ability to do it. But equally, I get it from his point of view. The amount of exposure and everything he gets from the way he fights, you'd almost be silly not to. You'd be missing out on such.
He reminds me a bit of. Didn't you do an interview with Johnny Nelson and he was talking about it? He used to do it when he was a fighter. Yeah, that's how you get people talking about yourself early on in your career. Yeah,
it was that gym coming out of Sheffield that produced Johnny Nelson, Prince Nassim, that generation. Prince Nassim's the famous one to do it because he did it up to world title level. He wasn't able to defend his world title for all too long, but he got the world title fighting that way. And I think, you saw he's an Olympic silver medalist. This isn't someone we're talking about that has danced over people who are rubbish at boxing up until this point. He's done it on the Olympic stage, and not many people can say they've got an Olympic silver medal.
And he did it on the Olympic stage.
Yeah.
Showboating and all that. But yeah, it's good telly. And I like watching him fight, so it should be good.
Yeah, and then Isaac Chamberlain, Jack Massey for the Commonwealth and European cruiserweight. A little bit around this of maybe, Isaac Chamberlain should have been fighting other people, etc., etc. But I think it'll be a decent fight against Jack Massey for Chamberlain.
Was he meant to be fighting originally?
There was talks about Vidal Riley or Chev Clark were the two that people wanted him to fight.
In terms of this fight, because Jack Massey stepped in, didn't he?
I should find out.
I can't remember.
Because Jack Massey stepping down from heavyweight as well. He fought Joseph Parker at heavyweight before.
Massey's a decent fighter, so it's going to be a good fight, I reckon, between the two of them.
Yeah, I can't remember who he was meant to fight originally.
The name now.
Yeah, it's evaded me, but
the Polish guy, wasn't it? But
yes, it was. Yeah, but yeah, he's looked. He's good fighter, Chamberlain, obviously, but
Michael Kislak.
No, Michael
Kislak, or whatever.
Yeah.
Kislak.
But yeah, this should be a really good fight and a good way to sort of lead into that main event, which will obviously be great as well. Do you see Chamberlain doing the job, or do you think Massey will cause him?
It will cause him trouble, but yeah, I back Chamberlain there, and then hopefully we can.
I don't know. See.
No.
I think it'll be closer than you expect.
Yeah, we'll save that ultimately for the predictions, which we'll do after on our. I don't know. We'll write.
I think the winner will be in the main event regardless.
Yeah.
But there could be an argument that the winner of the main event's eyeing another fighter, and can move on from that stage.
Yeah, new world title, Riakporhe, isn't it? Yeah.
All right, I hope he's ringside, but I don't see it happening. But imagine if he's ringside.
I think that makes sense for both parties, to be honest. I think Riakporhe will obviously want in on the winner of this one because there's a world title there, and vice versa. I think it could be a good fight for both parties. But like we said, Billam-Smith, Richard Riakporhe. The only loss on Billam-Smith's professional record to this date was to Richard Riakporhe. Richard Riakporhe still has an unbeaten record. It'll be hopefully another British title fight.
It's going to be a classic. I don't think you have to say hope. It's going to be, because I watched The Gloves Are Off last night, and Riakporhe said he has to win by any means. And they've both improved since the last time they fought. I think, when was it, 2019? On the Dillian White Oscar Rivas undercard. So, yeah, but I favour Riakporhe, if I'm being honest. I think he's the more fresher, and I think Billam-Smith has got more miles on the clock. He's fought better opposition, a Coley, Masterneck, but in his last fight, I didn't think he was really good. So, yeah.
It's interesting as well in terms of that first fight, like 5 years on, even though Riakporhe won the first fight, how both their careers have gone since. Like Riakporhe hasn't. This is the first time he's fighting for a world title. Billam-Smith lost the first fight, went on and won the world title after that. But I feel like it may be. I think it's going to be really close, but it might be Riakporhe's time to have a world title.
Yeah, I think it's certainly his best opportunity, and I think the fact that he's beaten him once will undoubtedly play into his advantage, because there will be doubts in Riakporhe, particularly if he can stick it on him early about whether or not he can beat Riakporhe, and that can only
I think as
play
well
into his favour.
When Billam-Smith fought Lawrence Okoli in front of his home crowd in Bournemouth, that played a massive factor in that fight, because I didn't have Billam-Smith winning that fight, if I'm being honest, but I think that plays a huge factor for Riakporhe's side of things. Like, you got the extra man in football, that's going to help him so much. So, yeah.
Yeah, it will be interesting.
Is Boxing News got our predictions
I don't
ready?
think it's got it on there. You guys can check and see if I'm being silly, but if it's not, we can just write them down. All of our predictions. You see, we do this every week. We predict our predictions officially on the Boxing News app. Compare, see who's winning. I think, Ben, you are still one ahead of me, aren't you, in terms of predictions?
5-4-2.
2, yeah. Miles back.
Nah,
that's a decent football.
Shocking, that.
Right.
We'll have to just write them down.
Yeah. So let's start. Let's presume that all the fights we spoke about from Fran up will be on there. So we've got, of course, Fran Hennessy versus Dorota Norek at bantamweight.
Fran Hennessy decision.
Fran Hennessy decision for me too. I think she's going to get the win, definitely. Don't know if she'll get the knockout. She hasn't had one in her career, I don't believe.
No, they've all been.
And I don't see her starting now necessarily.
Yeah, we've all gone the same on that one, I think.
What we'll do as well is we'll do the rounds whenever it goes on the Boxing News app. We don't have to do that now because it's a little bit difficult to do the maths without it sort of in front of you. The next one, Dan Aziz, fighting obviously light heavyweight.
He has to make a statement Saturday night, Dan Aziz, to put himself back in line for a big fight. So I think he gets the stoppage.
It's tough. I don't know if I think he'll get the stoppage. I think he might get a decision win. I do think he'll win it, but I don't know if it's going to be a stoppage.
Yeah. Yeah.
Look at this.
So,
things have turned. Yeah, he's doing all his research now on the fights.
I think it's an 8-rounder as well. It's not 10 or 12.
He's feeling the pressure from you. You know, you're right behind him.
Breathing down your neck.
Yeah.
You've gone decision win as well. He's just copying me now.
No, I'm taking this serious.
So he can't lose. That's why.
I'll copy you so I don't be different now.
Ben Whittaker versus Aaron Yeaker.
Ben Whittaker stoppage. Like Dan Aziz, he's going to make a statement here that you don't call people out and turn up to press conferences and start shouting.
I'm going to go for a Whittaker.
I'm going to say Whittaker decision before he makes his.
I'll say stoppage now because you said decision. I was actually thinking about going decision, but I will say stoppage. I'll back him to do it.
I think he's going to be
10-rounder.
I think he's going to be a tough fighter. Even I think Whittaker will get the better of him, but stopping him's a different story, I think.
Yeah, but he's managed to get some good stoppages at 6 and 8 rounds. At 10 rounds, I think that'd be a lot to take. He does land some good shots. I think
it depends on what Whittaker turns up on. Like if he's dominating it completely, does he just mess about in most of the rounds and just try and lock?
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Flash instead of going for the stoppage.
And then Isaac Chamberlain, Jack Massey.
Flip of a coin, this is.
This is good, to be fair, because previously we've questioned whether or not Boxer's been the only shows we've got them all right, all three of us. And this time we got different.
No, lately they've changed.
Yeah, exactly.
Like,
they've
Fabio
improved.
Wardley card was a decent 50-50 card.
Yeah,
the only two people he's lost to is Riakporhe and Joseph Parker.
Yeah, and the only people that
that Joseph Parker, I want to say, was at heavyweight.
Chamberlain's lost to is Billam-Smith and Okoli, so they've both lost to top fighters. It's a difficult one to call.
I'm gonna go with my.
I'm gonna go Chamberlain decision. Yeah, Chamberlain decision.
Jack Macy stoppage.
Woo.
I've got a lot of stoppages on this card.
Yeah, you have.
I've only got Fran Hennessy going to points. Maybe I have to change that to top. So
no, you can't. You can't.
I'm really stuck on what to go with.
Look at this.
It's tough, isn't it?
This is unbelievable. All these weeks I've been rinsed.
Yeah, but you do this
for taking so long.
He does
Look at him now.
He does this every week though.
No, and then for the 5v5 I was like that. Look at him now.
If you do it, Ben, now you take all this time and you don't win, it is embarrassing.
Yeah, it is embarrassing.
It is really embarrassing.
What's the issue?
Shocking.
It's all right to be embarrassed though, I think.
Jack Massey decision. I'm going to take a bit of a risk.
So we've got a guaranteed winner now. People have disagreed on stuff, so we've got a guaranteed winner between us all.
Well, what have you gone
Pretty
for?
much.
Chamberlain points.
Chamberlain decision, yeah. And then we've got Chris Billam-Smith versus Richard Riakporhe for the WBO World Cruiserweight 12-rounder. Who wins?
Riakporhe late stoppage.
I can't help but disagree, but agree. I think Riakporhe's going to get a stoppage. I think the midnight train is going to come to station.
I'm buying into what he's saying. I watched that gloves are off and I thought, yeah, he's showing he's ready.
That's your problem. You're too influenced by interviews.
I watch too much stuff.
Yeah, he watches an interview just before he comes in, and then just bases his.
Well, I watched an interview for that 5v5 and I listened to Davies, and I remember, I think I told you, I said I listened to that, and if I went with what he said, Willie Hutchinson, I was going to pick Willie Hutchinson because of what he said, but there we go.
What interview to listen to before Fury and Usyk?
Yeah, true. Most of them, to be fair.
Look at this guy, though.
Most of them did say
This guy's
Fury.
arguing by it all week. He's messaging. Don't worry, mate. You'll be right. You'll be right. I still don't know. Can I change mine?
It was a close fight, wasn't it?
It was,
one
to be
round
fair.
difference.
It was, to be fair.
But who got it right? And
Me.
who won the prediction?
Was it you? Did you win the whole thing? I forget.
I did.
Fair enough. What's your prediction on the main event, though, for this one?
Riakporhe split decision.
Ooh.
So we've all
that's how
gone
close
Riakporhe.
it's
We haven't given Billam-Smith a shot.
I feel like that could come to bite us. Really could. Really, really could.
We are good friends with people from Boxing News as well because he works with them. Andy Clark. Please don't.
Yeah, please.
Yeah, we are friends, so. sponsor us.
What a show that's going to be. What a weekend of fighting it's going to be. Really looking forward to it. I think that pretty much wraps it up for this episode. It's been slightly weirdly structured because we didn't have one to review, and it's not. But I mean, doesn't matter if it's a good episode or not. We're putting it out anyway. We can't change it now.
If you don't like it, they've already clicked off. Yeah.
Then if you are still listening, let us know in the comment section if you're still listening, and we'll, I don't know, like it, pin it.
I just realised they've got no stoppages.
Outrageous.
That's a long
gone decision for everyone.
Wow.
Crazy. Struggle to make a decision yourself.
Yeah,
so you've got no decisions. That pretty much wraps it up for all of this. Like we always say, Spotify for just the audio episodes. We obviously got video back this week. We didn't the other week. Instagram for all of our reels. Bit of stuff on there as well. Twitter's got some stories. All of that good stuff. We're even on Facebook now. But Facebook has same content as Instagram, but not quite as much. So I'm not selling that very well. But if you want to follow us on Facebook, do that as well. Other than that, we'll catch you all next week for another episode.
Punches chance. Punches chance podcast.